Hi Flosstube, it's Arlene here. It is Thursday, November 6th, 2025. I don't know if you could tell, I always look to the side because I'm always looking at my computer to remind myself what the date is. I hope you all have been well. It's just been a few weeks since I was here, which is great that I kind of it's not been too long, but since my last one, at that time I was sharing a new release, the 365 remix. And I'm excited to be here today to share a couple of new things with you. If you have found me by chance, welcome. So glad you're here. If you're returning, thank you. I design under the name Works by ABC. My initials are ABC. And I love to come out in the fall slash early, well, I guess we don't call it early winter. Well, although, so we just had the time change here in the United States, at least all the states except for like Arizona and some other part of Indiana or whatever the exceptions are. And already it's starting to get dark early, and I do not like it. As does so many other people. And so there's always a hard transition at the beginning of November. So it's not winter. I mean, the technical winter date doesn't start till December 21st or 2nd, but it starts to get colder and dark earlier. And it's time to bring out some of the winter stitching. So if you have been with me for a while, you know this, but for those who don't, I grew up Jewish, and I am aware that there are tons of Christmas related designs out there. There aren't as many for Hanukkah. And I like to do my little part to contribute to what is out there. And that leads me to the first new thing I want to share with you. I'm excited to share with you I got this ready to help me show this. This is what's called a dreidel. And this is a cross-stitch dreidel. The design is called Let's Play Dreidel. So, what is a dreidel? This is an example of a wooden one that I have. This is a little plastic one. It's a little spinning top, and they have 4 Hebrew letters, one on each side. And you play during Hanukkah time. There are some slightly different rules out there. Every family might have their thing, but it's the idea that everyone gets a certain amount of something. It might be coins, it might be M&Ms or chips or something like that. And you start out, I mean, again, it kind of varies, but everyone, like there's a pot in the center, however many are in the pot. And you spin the dreidel, and whatever it lands on, it tells you what to do. Each of these 4 sides, and I'll go through that in a moment, have a specific thing that you do. The question is always, what does it take for the game to end? Because you could just keep going around and around and around. My rule is whenever we get tired. In theory, you could keep playing until somebody has all the items. If you are familiar with the game with left, right, center, or right, left, or right, left, right, center is how I know it. Left, center, right also. That is a game that really can, without like too much time passing, end with somebody having all the things, or it's in the pot. I don't know. I've never timed it to see how long dreidel would take. But that's the idea. Sometimes it's just like, all right, we're going to play for 15 minutes. It could be whatever you want. You will see variations, but you really won't see too many variations of what each of the Hebrew letters mean. So you spin this top, and I've made this one. Here's my example of it spinning like this. And so if it landed on that letter, you do what you're supposed to do on that letter. So a little bit of a Hebrew lesson for you. This letter is called a nun. That's a gimel. That's hey. And that's a shin. And there's, just to get to the point here. If you land on a nun, nothing happens. If you land on a gimel, you get the whole pot. And usually if you're playing, everyone contributes one new thing to the pot and you keep going. You land on a hay. I have to remind myself because I have it written here. You take half of what's in the pot, and you land on a shin, you put something into the pot. So it's, again, different households might have some slightly different rules, but those are the four things. So it might be very easy to find a wooden or plastic dreidel in a home, and I say it's time to add a cross-stitch one to it. Now, how was this made three-dimensionally? Perforated paper. And so I'm selling the pattern. It comes with if you buy the paper pattern, it comes with a piece of perforated paper. You can fit all of these pieces on one piece of perforated paper, no problem. I know that, even if this is in a store, which it can be because it will be offered to Hoffman, which distributes to most stores, not all stores sell perforated paper. And so for the other designs I've put out there that have been made with perforated paper, I sell them with that piece. And I imagine some people might be saying, oh, cool looking, but what does it take to put that all together? And just so that you know, one of the reasons that it felt like it took a lot of hours to put this pattern together, just because I have multiple pages of pictures, where am I? And instructions on what to do step by step. So I stitched this, it's on 14 count perforated paper, and I used Threadworks, which I just love, particularly the light blue. I think you could see some of the gentle variegation. That's the kind of variegation that I like usually. Of course, you can use any threads you want, and I put a couple of DMC equivalents in the pattern. And size-wise, you can see, like my hand, it is approximately 3.5 inches by 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. And it was just sort of a fun idea that I had, that I thought this would be kind of cool to have a three-dimensional dreidel, because why not? If you are still in the concept of dough bowls or display pieces, of a way to display smalls, this could go in your small display. You could also use it. When it came to putting it together, I did put a small marble just to give the bottom a little weight, and then some stuffing. It would have held its shape perfectly fine without the stuffing. It just seemed like it should have a little bit to make it a little bit more, I don't even know what the word is. Anyway, so if you are interested, now I already took the thing out, but Let's Play Dreidel is the name of it. I sell all my patterns as both PDFs and paper copies, and I'll put the links below for both of those directly to my Etsy store. I've said this before, and it's not just for me. If you ever have an opportunity to follow a direct link to an Etsy store, like if you wanted to buy that, and instead of going to Etsy.com and searching Let's Play Dreidel, which you'd get there, but if you follow my link, that helps me out. It doesn't make any difference on your end, but Etsy doesn't take away as many fees. So if you're like on a Facebook group and somebody's saying, here's a link to this particular item, if you have a way to follow a direct link that has been put out there by the owner of the store, the person it is, do it. It helps out us Etsy folks that extra little bit. It's probably only a few cents, but hey, I'll take a few cents. So there you go. That is my first holiday design. Just FYI, this year Hanukkah is, I wrote this down. It starts Sunday night, December 14th, and goes through Monday the 22nd. So if you're unfamiliar with the Jewish religion, holidays will vary, and it's because the Jewish calendar is a lunar calendar, and there can be quite a range of dates. For all kinds of I know there's some years where Hanukkah is like right after Thanksgiving, and there's some years that it's like December 25th and even beyond. So it can vary quite a lot. And it has a different level of significance from a religious standpoint related as Christmas does. But it's a thing for the holiday season that a lot of people, just separate from the religious aspect of it, in terms of having something to celebrate that is more with what they've grown up with, which is the way I think about it. So that is this year's Hanukkah design. My second design to share with you that is new is a Nutcracker. So this design, You may, if you are familiar with Grace Notes Fabrics, last year they did, well, they do boxes, mystery boxes, but they give out a theme. And last year, like in the fall, this was their first one. The theme was Nutcracker, and they asked me to do a design for it, which I was glad to. I stitched this, I think you can get a little sense, with étoile threads. This is not the first sort of winter/holiday design that I've used étoile threads. If you're unfamiliar, it's a DMC thread. For me, I can find them in, Michael's, what you call the big box stores. Usually I say Michael's and Joann's, but Joann's no longer. So it's not like, Gentle Arts or Weeks or something that you often need to get from an LNS or online. Étoile, again, for me, I'm able to get in Michael's. And it just adds that kind of winter sparkle. You could see I also use some beads here. The frame, somebody asked me about this. This was from TJ Maxx. It's not like I could say, "Ooh, here's a link for the cool frame that sort of the laciness goes with the snow." It was in some respects, it was sort of an impulse purchase that 2 years ago, when I found this frame. I just liked the laciness of it. And I thought, well, I try hard in my designs to use things that are to some degree accessible. And I mean that from both fabric and thread and finishing. I don't do a whole lot of unusual finishing. It's one of the reasons I sell the designs like this with a piece of perforated paper. So I bought it, and I'm like, I don't know if I could ever use it for any of my designs, because to me it's such a unique frame. But I know there's plenty of unique frames out there, and if you stitch a Nutcracker and want to frame it, maybe you'll find something. I did design this to nicely fit on a 5x7 frame. I know it's when I think in terms of a small that I know I'm going to finish as a framed piece, if I can, I try to design it to fit in a standard size, 5x7, 4x6, 8x10, whatever it is, because I know sometimes that's the best framing option for a lot of folks. So there you go. 2 new designs for November of 2025, obviously. Winter related. It's always a question of what is the best time to put out new things that are like, for me, it's like, all right after Halloween. Even though I know a lot of people have already started their winter/Christmas/holiday stitching. But if you're interested in adding either of these, again, the links will be below. And I meant to check for last year, because I feel like this happened last year, but oh well, with the timing of what I'm about to announce. So my birthday is coming up this weekend, and every year I like to do a sale on my birthday, or for my birthday, that I want to give you all a present. So for the next 10 days, today's November 6th through I said it for the 17th, so 11 days, there is a sale going on my Etsy store. So even the new things, you get 20% off, no coupon code needed. It applies to both my PDFs as well as the paper copies. So go shopping. Enjoy. Also, down below is a general link to my Etsy store, which actually is an interesting question. If you follow that, if you follow that link just to like my landing page, I think it still helps me out with that fee thing. That I don't think it has to just be the specific listings. Anyway, I like to do this each year. It's a way to thank you all for being with me. I started this Etsy cross-stitch design thing in the March of 2017. No, March of 2017. I don't know. It's May. I have deadline. Somewhere, I know I have it written, and actually now that I say, I'm pretty sure it's May, because I often do a sale around my Etsy anniversary. But I hope you will help support me and support anyone out there who has things that they want to share. If you have a way to get it directly from a creator, and I mean that from cross-stitch design to like authors to whatever, if you can to support directly, that's great. So, and I think I'm going to put the Works by ABC sale in the description of this video. So I guess that wasn't a surprise, but there you go. Thank you if you go ahead and stop by and purchase a couple things. I wanted to, so going back to me putting out Hanukkah designs, I don't do it every year. I do try to put out something in the holiday realm, and I'm going to show you some stuff, and I just realized one thing I forgot to dig out. It's okay. I have forgotten what year each of these, although I'm pretty sure this one was last year. So in a spirit of Dreidel, this was a design I did last year, rules for Dreidel, and you could see actually when I was looking to the side to remind myself of the rules of which letter, I was actually looking at this. So this was a fun thing for me to stitch because, to have it on display, I'll remember. Because my experience is every time I've sat down, like with my nieces and nephews, inevitably have to Google, wait, what happens to each letter? Because that's just what happens when you play a game only once a year. So this was a design. Again, all of what I'm about to show you are in my Etsy store. I loved these guys. These two are sold together, and I'm pretty sure they're called Hanukkah songs. I have a little dreidel. I made it out of clay. That is a well-known Hanukkah song. Hanukkah, oh Hanukkah, come light the menorah is another one. And there's a few others. These are old, like the lyrics are in the public domain. That's why I chose these two to do. And I loved these little guys. And one year I also came out with this one, Festival of Lights, in the spirit of smalls. I know there's so many smalls that are out there, so many ornaments that come out for Christmas time. And I'm just making my little contribution, as I've said already. I also had, this is the one I forgot to bring out, and I'm pretty sure it was last year, a little like band sampler thing that says Happy Holidays. But I've also included the chart so you can do the exact same thing and have it say Happy Hanukkah, as well as the same thing, do the chart with Merry Christmas. And I so meant to dig that out because it's another way that I try to, there's a lot of folks, my sister being a great example, that celebrate both holidays. My sister and her family have a Christmas tree because that's important to my brother-in-law. He grew up with one. It was never about Jesus or religious. It was part of his family's tradition. Our family tradition was about menorahs and gifts for 8 nights, or maybe we didn't get them every night. And so they are an example of a family that blends things together. There are some families that hanging something that says Happy Holidays really covers them. Others want a Merry Christmas or a Happy Hanukkah, and I'll put links to that below. These are not my only Hanukkah designs. These are the more recent ones. I think some of my earlier ones, and I would guess a lot of designers would probably say something like this. Some of my early designs, Hanukkah or otherwise, I look back at and think, I've come a long way. That's not to say they're unstitchable or anything. It's just nice to see growth and evolution. And you could say that about whether it's stitching, whether it's playing basketball, whether it's photography, gardening. If you look at the span of time that you've been doing something and reflect back, you can see how you've grown with it. So wanted to share a few of these Hanukkah designs. There are others. If you are on the lookout for yourself, for a gift, for the equivalent of some of the smalls that you sometimes see around this time of year for Christmas, I've offered you a few options right there. Speaking of, how do I phrase this? More generic holiday designs. Let me move things out of the way here. You may be familiar with the Just CrossStitch magazine. So Just CrossStitch puts out a Christmas issue each year. They've restructured in the last few years. It was called the Ornaments issue. They now do, I'm not going to get this right. I want to say it's 6 issues a year, like a winter, spring, summer, fall, as well as a Halloween issue and a Christmas issue. So the fall, like there's multiple issues that kind of get squished together. And so I think when they changed this up as opposed to the way they used to do it, that's what I think is when they changed it to a Christmas title. That said, I know I saw at least one Hanukkah design in here. But one of the reasons I know they wanted to, at least for 2025, or maybe this has been, no, I know this has been at least the second year, that they did want to say, hey, we'll also have some non-ornament designs, or for lack of better words, designs that you could think a little bit more about different finishes. And you can find this magazine in LNSs. Some people, I think I could get it at a Barnes and Nobles. Many people have subscriptions. You can get it digitally. And each year it is filled with designs from many designers. I'm not flipping this very well. But what's kind of great, and actually maybe I'll do a quick little thing, is that they kind of divide it into sections, and then there's a picture of all the designs in each section. So they called that one a special gift. They called this one, oops, ooh, I guess I should make sure that, sorry, make sure the chart is not showing. They called this one Child at Heart. Holly Jolly Santa. Peace on Earth. Oh, that's a little bit of light, pushes away a lot of darkness. That's a Hanukkah design there. Oh, and here's a Kwanzaa design, which I saw this. I thought that is very cool. The Festive Tree. Timeless Traditions. Winter Wonderland. I mean, some of these are kind of very, very generic categories, and some of these designs could go in multiple places, and there's an element they just have to sort it out. And so here towards the end are, like I said, things that are, not ornament intended. This is like a little like wall hanging, or at least it's been finished that way. And here comes my contribution to the 2025 Christmas/ornaments or Christmas issue. It is a snowflake trio. So I had the first time I did one of these was a set for Valentine's Day that was in just CrossStitch a few years ago. And I loved the idea that I then on my own released 4 seasons. And you can get all of those in my Etsy store. They're available. And it's like winter Biscornu stack, spring Biscornu stack, and so on. There is one of my videos. It was probably when the last of those, it was the summer one, the last one. I think the summer was the last one. Like the thumbnail is me showing you all 4 seasons because it was just a little fun thing for me. When I did those 4, I did them all on different fabric counts, but they have the same stitch count. So if you were to use the same, if you're a 32 count person, they would all be the same. But because I use different fabric counts, you could just visually see the difference. So I know one was 25 count, one was 40, one was 36, and I forget whether the fourth one was 32 or 28. Anyway, when I've lost track of time here at this point. Oh, so part of this story is this was supposed to be in last year's Christmas issue. As what happens sometimes, they ran out of room. They had to bump it. It might have been in the winter issue because it's not necessarily, it's snowflakes. It could be, and I'm going to show you more detail in a moment. And then they had to bump it again. And so it finally made its appearance this year. It was actually a conversation I had with them that they remembered my Valentine and they're like, oh, maybe you could do like a winter snowflake one. And I'm like, I've already come out with my own winter one. And they're like, well, what if you just focus on snowflakes? I'm like, okay, I can do that. So, and you can make just one of these Biscornus. You don't have to do all 3. But the idea of lots of sparkly beads, to me, gives it a extra wintry look. Now, an argument could be said that beads, and I don't think too much about this, don't necessarily, they don't photograph the best. I mean, it's decent. So Sparkling Snowflake Trio is in, this is not my Etsy store. This is in the Just Cross Stitch magazine. And if you have it, you will see that because of, I mean, it's in effect 6 different charts. I mean, they're small, but 6 different charts. It does take up multiple pages. And so I can understand something like this had they needed to bump it until they could have the space to fit it in. So if you're interested in picking this up, you will see that. Just to finish off sort of the non-specifically ornament designs in here. Here's one. Now, like, for example, that so could have been finished as an ornament. Although it's 102 by 117, so that would be a pretty large, or well, it could be a large ornament. Depends on your fabric size. So that comes in just finished as a pillow. These little guys, which they are stitched on like plastic canvas. Could sew stitch this on perforated paper. Little gift tags, but they could be ornaments. What else do we have in here? I thought this was really pretty. With a perfect frame to fit it. Here's something that was just finished as a flat fold. Is that the end? Yeah, that's the end. And I do like that they do have at the end all of the designs in one spread. So just wanted to share with you. I have had designs in just cross stitch, the ornaments issue, as well as other issues in the past, and it is always fun to share with all of you when that happens. So kind of a short video today, but that's all right. I know sometimes the long ones can feel a little too long. I'm excited to have my 2 new designs available if you are so interested in doing a little of holiday stitching along these lines. I know some people are like, oh, November, I'm done with my holiday stitch. I'm already working on, spring and Easter. That's fine. We all stitch what we love, right? That's the idea. If you find yourself not enjoying what you're doing, definitely put it on pause. I'm not going to say throw it out at the first, I don't like this, but it's definitely, this is, I always struggle to use the word hobby. It's a passion. It's a love. It's a, however you describe it for yourself, make sure you enjoy whatever it is that you're stitching. So, and also remember that I have a sale going on. I'm excited to get even more of my patterns out to all of you. Oh, and I also meant to mention, and I don't have it, I mentioned in my last video about elegant lace, which there is a SAL starting through the Sunshine Stitchers. You can request to join their Facebook group. Believe it's starting December 1st. It's amazing how many people have bought the pattern. We'll see how many start, and as is always the case with any SAL, how many people finish. But I'm excited because it's a monochrome design, and I can't wait to see the variations of colors and threads and how people are going to be doing that. And I meant to share a little bit more about that. Hold on, because it's... Thank you if you stayed with me here. I did need to get this out and briefly mention a little bit about it. So, again, Sunshine Stitcher SAL if you're interested, but just in general, this design, you can see here, is basically just stitched with 2 strands and 1 strand. And the light area where it's 1 strand is just what I call a 10th stitch. You call it half a cross stitch. You call it 1 slash of the X. You call it whatever you want, okay? I saw some folks like talking about it and wondering, I think the idea is what's the difference between a 10th stitch and half cross stitch? And there's like needlepoint definitions in terms of what it looks like on the back. Talk about it as 1/2, like 1 diagonal line. And because you can see a lot of it is that 1 diagonal line, this is the quickest of my lace designs that I've ever stitched. And that's why and you could, again, it's a monochrome design. You can choose to stitch it however you want. I know I've seen someone who did like the flowers in a different color and this and that in a different color. So I will put a link below to the Facebook group for Sunshine Stitchers if you are interested in this. And I'll put links to my Etsy store if you're interested in getting the pattern. Like I said, it starts on the 13th, December 1st, and if I'm remembering correctly, I need to make sure I have that EJ and Shelia have divided the pattern into 13 parts, 13 because we always need an extra month to catch up. The idea is that you would do one part a month. So it's not just like, hey, let's all start the same pattern. It's like, here's a little bit of guidance. Here's a goal. Can you get this much done in 4-week time period? But this is, and in a lot of ways, in the spirit of the snowflake, white, wintry kind of way that I think about, because I don't celebrate Christmas. I don't think of those. In a lot of ways, this kind of falls right along that line of a winter kind of design. So that's all I wanted to talk about for today. Thank you so much for being here. I'm, again, so aware of all the all the Flosstube videos you have to choose from. Please do all the YouTube things. Certainly like, subscribe. If you can, leave a comment. Those are the kinds of things, not just for me, but for every video you watch. Makes a difference. I saw somebody, I thought this was a great comment. When a video starts, just hit the like button. And you know what? If you don't like the video, just exit, okay? But it was described, it's kind of like when you walk through the door of a home and you wipe your feet. Come on in, welcome in. Hit the like button. I probably should have said that at the beginning of the video. Well, if you're still here with me, thank you very much. I hope you have a great, probably Thanksgiving. I'll probably be back after Thanksgiving here in the U.S. at end of November. Have a great few weeks. Till next time. Bye.